Ozzy Schaffer. Don't see this? You have a room the ringer. And representing KFog, a virtual unknown in San Francisco, she's the author of 4 memoirs, including award-winning Valencia and the illustrated Rent Girl, the poetry collection The Beautiful, and the novel Rose of No Man's Land. She directs Radar Productions, which produces literary events and tours. Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle T. Blinding a baby right before your eyes. It's great. Literally does that. All right. Michelle forgot her baby. To decide to see who goes first, Michelle, could you call my card in the air? Could you say opium or weird splatter?
Weird splatter.
It is weird splatter. Now, the weird thing is Dylan has to go first to get this baby home. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first. It's actually...
Oh, actually, Michelle gets the pick.
Oh, I'm sorry. The bar has told us that we have to leave immediately.
Right.
Oh, baby?
Because of the baby.
Go, do your thing, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Michelle decides to go second. An interesting decision from a gamesmanship standpoint. Ladies and gentlemen, Dylan Schaffer.
Hello. Notes to my daughter on freedom, fucking, fisting, and faith. Prefatory note. Ozzy. 12 months ago, I had unprotected sexual intercourse with your mother. I achieved orgasm, she did not. After, she remained on our tattered IKEA couch, her legs splayed, feet pointed at the ceiling, aiding my 45-year-old sperm in its sluggish hobble, punt, and assault on her ovum. At the time, I considered making a flip remark about how, if it worked, you might turn out to be a gynecologist, but I didn't. It worked. Your father is a writer. I'm paid inadequately to come up with the right words to illustrate an idea, a drama, a face, and so now I've had 12 months to consider the meaning of it. The sex, the pregnancy, the birth, the child, fatherhood, and I have come up with such a word to sum it all up, a word after which no other need be spoken. That word is fuck! My dear Ozzy, determined not to be one of those people who has a kid and retreats into his perfectly coiffed backyard, into his plaid Barker lounger and generic gin, into his neighbor's wife, into his closet with the broken bowling trophies and obsessively oiled handgun, one of my first acts as a parent was to file your passport application. I've always been a traveler, and so will you. I promise to get us both lost, and thusly we will be free, we will find what's real. We'll climb Pyramid Fort to Kal, we'll eat at As du Falafel in the Marais. You'll skip through rice paddies in northern Vietnam, your hands in the hands of braided Hmong girls. The passport application wanted to know your occupation. I wrote, baby. It demanded to know your employer. I wrote, me, but that didn't seem right, so I scratched it out and wrote, self. It wanted to know your height. I wrote 1'8", and I thought, Christ almighty, that's a damn short baby. Ozzy, my love, 30 years of irresponsible fucking, I'd never made anyone pregnant. And your mother had never been pregnant, and my friends and people on TV, they don't just get pregnant, they suffer at it. They masturbate in fluorescently lit offices and have their sperm chuckled at by pimply lab techs. They shoot themselves with hormones and choose among egg donors and meet with shady lawyers behind orphanages in Guatemala. And often, after years of misery and irreparable damage to their relationships and endless thousands of dollars, they remain childless, thinking about volunteering someplace or remodeling their living rooms. I wanted you, sure, but I doubted you would show. Also, I wanted to get laid. Repeatedly. I wanted nasty, dripping depravity. I wanted to inhabit my own personal porno, and so, in the unlikely event you arrived, wrecking my sleep, and my bank account, and my sex life, I could say with a Cheshire smile on my lips, and juices running down my chin that, yes, well, but it was worth it, wasn't it? Listen, kid, don't make my mistake. Fucking for babies is nothing like regular fucking. Intercourse for a purpose, with a goal in mind, other than window-rattling, neighbor-embarrassing orgasm, turns the whole thing into a chore on the order of, say, flossing. Not horrible, sort of gratifying in the end, and ultimately unavoidable if you want to have a kid, or not spend your golden years gumming your cigars to a pulpy mess. You don't get to come up behind your wife and pin her to the wall when she's dressed in those lace-up boots and may or may not be wearing underwear. Sure, you'll get laid, but despite a very strict no hospital scrubs to be worn in the house rule, Dr. Wife has indeed slept in her hospital scrubs and smells like some fungus she picked up in the ER, and you have a bad cold and basically don't want to have sex of any kind, and if you have to, well then, Jesus, let's just get it over with. My sweet Ozzy. October 16, 1968, at the Summer Olympics in Mexico City, 2 U.S. athletes, Smith and Carlos, stood on the award podium shoeless, bowed their heads, and raised their leather-gloved fists in the traditional Black Power salute. I was 4. Since seeing that image, I have lived in mortal fear of being anally fisted, unable to escape the thought of dropping from the Mexico City sky and being impaled asswise on Mr. Smith's or Mr. Carlos's gloved hand. Look, I'm no prude. I've played backdoor Betty to a finger or two in my day. Under the right circumstances, I'll welcome the business end of a butt plug, but the fist, by God, I say thank you, no. It was therefore with considerable irony that I sat in the office of a midwife 3 months before your arrival, taking instruction on a blandly named business called perineal prep. For your anatomical information, the perineum is the portion of skin between your anus and your genitalia. To help your mother avoid the dreaded episiotomy, wherein a portion of the perineum is snipped to help your absurdly oversized and misshapen head emerge without making a pulp of her nether regions, the midwife ordered me to do the following. Every night, slather my hands with KY jelly, spread your mother's legs, and stick as many fingers as possible, knuckle deep, into her vagina. Then, press down as hard as I could, as hard as she could tolerate, without fainting. The midwife said one dad got in all 10 fingers. I thought, well, bully for that motherfucker. I said, that's nice. And so I fisted with a sense of purpose, banishing thoughts of the '68 Summer Games. Your mother endured this insult with great dignity, and despite your absurdly oversized and misshapen head, it worked. No episiotomy. In the old days, I'd pause by the row of KY boxes at Walgreens, mouth watering, heart skipping, trousers faintly tenting. After perineal prep, heavy of heart, I avert my eyes, move quickly past the family planning aisle in search of diaper cream and organic wipes. Listen, kid, I've no doubt there will be many times in your life that you will hate me, will think me an idiot, will yearn to have some other smarter, more attractive, richer, funnier father. I will fall short. I will be wholly inadequate. And like the man who criticizes a restaurant for the poor quality of its food and then complains that the portions are too small, you'll justifiably fault me for dying too soon, likely before you reach the age I am now. I will fail at fatherhood utterly and completely, and for all of that, I am sorry. In my defense, I have only this. Twice in my life, I decided to die. I flubbed it, and so, for better or worse, I'm here, and so are you. Your grandmother always criticized me for doing things half-assedly, and no doubt in part to emphasize the point, one night she had a couple of drinks, swallowed a bottle of pills, and died. We Schaffers are a faithless lot. Our passions are boundless, but we don't believe in much. We hold ourselves above the religious masses, secretly yearning for their blissful ignorance. We tend to hopelessness, and in a literal sense, we don't take being alive for granted. No made-up God is going to tell us when to go. I'm not sure this is the right way to live, without faith, expecting the worst and often coming to it. It's just the way we've always done. Look, Ozzy, I didn't want you. I honestly couldn't see the point. Why add to the misery? Enough suicidal Schaffers, enough bodies on a congested and dying planet. Enough. And then suddenly, I did. Please, 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 punch in the face anyone who says you are alive because you are the fullest expression of your parents' love, or because our lives were incomplete without you. They are lying to you, and they need to be smacked. Believe me, I chose to have you for no reason at all. You exist because for an instant, and that's all it was. And it has long passed. And now, honestly, I have no idea what you're doing here or why. For an instant, I chose living over dying, hope over despair. For that sliver of a moment, probably because I'd had something weird to eat, or maybe watched the Yes We Can video on YouTube one too many times. For that moment, Ozzy, I had faith. Thank you.